Greetings, travelers. Welcome to Planet Buster. Initiating interstellar in-flight sequence. Powering navigation systems. Broadcast signal established. Thrusters at full momentum. Preparing for Planet Buster's launch in 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, everyone out there in the multiverse? Welcome back to Planet Buster Radio, the, once again, three-headed space monster of podcast, because along with myself, Shane, and my co-pilot, Dan, what's going on, Dan?
Trying to live life paycheck to paycheck and trying not to fall under this crippling weight of debt.
The daily space grind. But yeah, once again, along with Dan and myself, we got a special treat for you guys. We're bringing Eric from the Beanholes on the podcast. What's going on, Eric?
Pretty good. I am the head that is stapled on.
Yes!
For
the Frankenstein monster.
We need 3 heads!
I don't even think we can afford, like, staples, though. We just have, like, duct tape and some gum. We, like, MacGyvered you off to the side.
I was told this was Staples. What's going on? Oh, speaking of Staples, I don't work at a place like that, so I'm not going to talk shit about it at all. But I will talk shit about previous jobs. No problem.
Oh, that's going to be fun because, peeking behind the curtain a little bit, Eric and I used to work together, so this is how we got this little union going on.
Absolutely.
And, hey, if you're coming over to Planet Buster from the Beanholes, welcome. We hope you like our little mischief corner we got going on over here. It's going to be a lot of rambling. It's going to be a lot of bullshitting, but, hey.
What happens in the spacement stays in the spacement.
In the spacement. We just came up with that. But yeah, so, we wanted to do something special because we know it's your, 3-year anniversary for the podcast?
Tomorrow. Three-year anniversary from when we first put our first episode up. Now, like, that doesn't mean that day we were just like, let's record a podcast, let's do it and put it up on iTunes. It definitely took a little bit of time, so we're definitely past 3 years since we first started working on stuff, but
right.
For the first episode, the anniversary.
Yeah, Dan and I definitely know about putting some dues in before you can start something. This is like, our 3rd YouTube channel?
I love
Speak
pudding,
yourself,
by the way.
This is like your first. I have like 2.
Yeah, but I helped you with the other ones. It's not like we didn't do that together. My name is on those fucking awful Power Rangers abridged videos too. My name shows up on those. But yeah, we wanted to have a topic that we could all come get together on, and I know we wanted to do something, I guess, controversial. That's not really what we're looking for, but something that we could sit here and talk a while on. And we're thinking about censorship. We're thinking about, I hate saying PC culture because it makes it sound like I'm against some people, or some things being taken out of the public eye.
Yeah.
Because I get it. Sometimes I totally get it, but we wanted to talk about, has censorship and the PC culture gone too far in the modern day? Has it kind of stretched from doing the right thing to kind of being a tool for censorship?
Yeah.
Has it jumped the shark?
Yes, has it jumped the shark?
As we say in entertainment.
As Eric saves me from that horrible tongue twister I just threw myself into.
That's what you pay me for.
Shut up! No one's supposed to know about that. We're friends. Oh yeah, we've known each other for years. Take the check.
This better not bounce.
I knew this was going to be mayhem. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. So I guess I throw it out. This is the part where I back up and throw it out to the guests. So Eric, since you're our guest of honor, what do you think?
I mean, the answer is yes. I do think I'm the kind of person, especially when it comes to politics, I don't do labels. I don't liberal, conservative, any of that stuff. I look at each situation differently. So when I complain about a singular person and what they say in the public, I'm not complaining about the group they associate with. To me, that's silly. That's like if you said something stupid and I then associate that with your entire family tree. Like that's silly. That would be the silliest thing.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I definitely think I'm in the same boat with you. I think labeling yourself is just kind of redundant. I think it's playing team favoritism before you even get to a problem.
Right.
So, yeah, if you have something to say about, I don't know, let's take an example. We were talking about some video games before this, Dan. We were talking about Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. We were talking about like Extreme and those games.
Yeah, if anyone still even remembers that was actually a franchise.
I promise you, there are at least 3 guys hiding in a corner in their own basement that remember that game fondly.
Probably with a body pillow, to be fair.
The waifus. But yeah, like there was a lot of outcry, especially for it was like the new one, right? The Extreme Beach Volleyball 2.
Yeah, not 2. I think it was 3.
It was 3.
What it was? Yeah,
it was 3.
It was being released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and everything like that. And they basically put out the statement being like, we're not bringing it to the States because people are starting to talk about female representation in video games, and we don't want to release it here. And that kind of caused some uproar between like the, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 people who still care about DOA volleyball. And that went to this whole thing of like, it's censorship because it's clearly like preventing this game from coming out. And in that situation, I think it's more of like, not an imposed censorship. Like, I don't think anyone like went out there and said, "Hey, you can't release this fucking game because these are the situations." It's pretty much where they felt more pressure, so it was almost like their own self-censorship on that basis of putting out the game.
Yeah, so you think they kind of shot their own foot off in a way?
Pretty much, but at the same time, it also kind of like led to this whole thing where they could just say, "But if you do want to say fuck the system, you can import it through PlayAsia."
Yeah. Hey, that's pretty cool of them to do. I always love that stuff. Like, okay, we can't legally give this to you, but here's the back door.
Right.
Yeah.
But this has been going on for a while. And at your shirt, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when that was brought to Europe, the word ninja was seen as a violent term.
Oh yeah, it was Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Right. So as far as I know, I think even just some of the weapons were changed in the animation. So even that, it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time, censorship,
it was weird, because, like, I actually remember, like, I was watching a couple of retrospectives on, like, the old 80s series, and, like, for some reason, it was only Michelangelo's nunchucks that were the problem. Like, the sword, the size, and the fucking stick, that's fine. No one can get hurt by that, but a nunchuck? Whoa.
If you cut that stick in half and had a chain between the 2 ends,
They're
that's wrong.
That's
that is wrong.
I mean, sure, someone could get decapitated with katanas, but whoa.
So what did they change it to? This is all news to me.
They changed it to, like, a weird grappling hook kind of thing?
Oh, no, I think I did hear about that,
Yeah,
actually.
you got a grappling hook.
What the fuck?
Because there's nothing like when you're going into a fight, you want to have a grappling hook.
Well, yeah, like, obviously you saw Suicide Squad. That's why they had Slipknot for all of 3 seconds.
Holy shit. If you're making a team of, like in case Superman goes crazy, who are you going to send after him? I want the guy who climbs a lot. That's going to save your planet there.
We need the clown with a baseball bat. We need the guy who shoots bullets that can't hurt the guy who's impervious to bullets. And we need the guy who can climb anything.
Clearly, his role paid off so well in that crisis.
I'm telling you right now, actually, I think Slipknot probably had the best chance on that team, because while Superman is murdering everyone else, he can get the fuck out of there.
That is true.
Until Superman X-ray visions and finds him and rips his head off.
Way to shit on a character. You don't even. He does not get an introduction. He shows up right before you leave. Like, oh yeah, we're adding this guy, and then he dies as soon as they get there.
The moment he showed up too, I leaned over to Dan and I was just like, "This dude's fucking dead." I'm like,
oh, of course he is. Like,
what pissed me off the most, and I know we're rambling, but fuck it. What pissed me off the most is that they did those like vignettes for all the characters, and they gave him one. There's like this full detailed like Slipknot. This is what he does. So you think, oh yeah, this guy's gonna be in the movie. And I don't know whose favorite character Slipknot is. Like, I don't know who was like, I can't wait to see this guy. But I can understand, like, he was a Native American character in a major, comic book movie. So he could have that kind of, following. And they just went, ha, fuck him, and shot him.
I haven't seen a comic book company make a movie that shit on a character so bad since Jimmy Olsen and Batman v... hold on, wait a minute. Same company, they've done this before.
Yeah. But actually, since we were on the topic of video games, I know this is the one that kind of sparked us wanting to do this, because this is recent, and as a fighting game fan, it really pissed me off. Eric, have you heard about the Tekken 7 censorship and how Roger isn't in the game?
The bear, right?
No, the kangaroo.
The kangaroo. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, kangaroo.
Yeah, Roger, because PETA thought it was too violent.
Let's be fair, though. PETA also are the people that thought it was too violent for Mario to wear a costume of an animal and use it as a weapon in his game. If you remember...
the Tanuki suit?
Yeah, they thought, like... they made a fake game on their website, yes, because Mario is ripping a Tanuki's skeleton out of its skin and wearing it. I don't see PETA attacking people who have, like, cow pajamas or anything like that,
Right.
so why can't you dress up as an animal?
I don't even think... It's like if somebody had, like, a spirit hood, like one of those spirit hood hats, and PETA ran in and was just like, oh my god, you murdered a unicorn, and, like, punched her in the face.
Are those fucking chicken slippers? You son of a bitch! You motherfucker! You're evil!
I have Homer
I'll cook
Simpson
you.
slippers where you put your foot in his mouth, and I wonder if they would come in on that like, a human being! No, because he's
don't
not
give
an
a shit.
animal. They wouldn't give a shit.
I don't give a shit about people.
I think what really set me off on this, though, is Dan and I actually, before we did this podcast, we had, like, I think, like, an hour-long conversation about this the other day, where I had brought up, I'm like, okay, so why are they censoring this? Because you can fight a kangaroo. I said, did you see that video that was really, like, it went viral a couple months ago?
The guy punched
Yeah,
the
the guy who
kangaroo?
punched a kangaroo. That thing ate that punch for lunch. He just looked at him like, did you really just do that?
I see people. Look, this is. I think this is just an American thing. There was a video online the other day. Somebody posted up that was called "Best Pool Party Ever," and it was a pool about your size that was filled with golden retrievers. It was like 50 golden retrievers all hanging around this pool, and people found a reason to complain of going, well, you're gonna have to clean that pool afterwards. It's gonna be smelly, and it's like. Can you not just appreciate that there's a pool full of golden retrievers? You have to complain.
Right, that's not adorable to you?
That's not
You don't think
adorable.
that's
So
adorable?
the guy that punched the kangaroo, I mean, the kangaroo was attacking his dog. He gave it one punch. He didn't keep attacking it. He punched it, took his dog, and walked away.
Right.
And if you've ever seen kangaroos, they get jacked as hell.
Oh, that's the thing. It's like pure muscle. And I relate it completely to that video just because look at that kangaroo's reaction. It gets punched in the face and it doesn't run. It doesn't even really flinch. It kind of gives like a look around like, did he really just do that?
Yeah.
It wasn't reeling in pain. It was just like, what the fuck?
It's one of my favorite videos of all
Yeah,
time.
and then instead of attacking him, it just kind of runs away because he's like, I can't believe that guy just hit me. I can't.
That son of a bitch.
Wait, what the hell? But if that kangaroo wanted to, he would have ripped his head off.
Absolutely. That guy's lucky. That guy is lucky because in Australia they had kangaroo boxing. Like that was a national thing. You know, they wouldn't air it on TV, but that was just one of those
Right.
not really underground. People
Like
knew it
bear
was
wrestling.
happening, like bear wrestling in America. So it's a game though. Who cares?
Yeah, it's a fictional fucking character. It's not even real.
That's the part that gets me too, is that they went, oh, but Alex the Raptor, that's completely okay. And Kuma and Panda are still in the game. So you're telling me that you can
One
fight
of
a
which
bear.
is an endangered fucking
Right,
species.
Panda's an endangered species, but they said that was okay.
We have to find the word that would be the racist term against different species, because that to me is like, well, bear can fight, kangaroo no. Who has this authority?
Kangaroos are good at math. Kangaroos can't fight.
Now, if this was a new character, I don't think I'd be as upset. But
Right.
this is a storied franchise. They're on their 7th game.
Yes.
And as far as I know, he has been a part of it, like, at least since number 2.
Yes, he's
It's
a long time character.
He's been a long recurring character for a fucking while.
I get more upset, not at the people complaining, because I realize that you could... Donald Trump could come on TV tomorrow and go, oxygen is wonderful, and people would find a way to complain about that.
Yeah.
I get more upset at just the instant, the breaking of like, fine, we won't put the character in, or we'll take him out, we'll censor it. Like that, I think upsets me more than the people who find fault.
Yeah. I think I was kind of more let down than I was angry about it. Especially because, like you said, it's been such a mainstay character that I could understand, like you said, if it was a new character and they just went, "This isn't cool. Can you back off with it, please?"
Yeah.
All right, fine. We tried to do something experimental. Like if it was like a baby seal character and you clubbed it over the head, like
Yeah,
that's
no,
a little
that-
too far.
Ice Climbers, that was censored for
Yeah, that
American
was,
audiences.
especially like even some of the older like Nintendo games. Like I remember Wario Land 2, I think it was. Like there was a thing where like if Wario got hit with a bowling ball, you'd act all weird. But in like the actual Japanese game, they were like throwing mugs of beer at him.
Really?
So like when he was stumbling around, it was because he was fucking drunk.
See, Nintendo acts very kiddish, but they have a dark history behind there.
Very dark.
Yeah.
That's well. I mean, what's one of the first games that people remember? It's going out and shooting ducks.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Could you imagine Duck Hunt if it came out right now?
Well, it's shovelware on the Wii. They have those crappy.
Yeah, or
shoot chickens, shoot ducks.
or it'd be like shuffled onto like Duck Dynasty or something like that.
Oh my god.
Oh, but then it would be educational. It wouldn't be.
Half the game is shooting ducks. The other is like, all right, welcome to your Bible study. Sit through a 10-minute sermon by Uncle Si and you get an achievement.
One of the mini games is you have to sit there and grow out your hair and beard so people actually believe that you're a hillbilly.
I wish they would have went far with that because you have these group of people. They're sitting at a table like, you think this is too much? And someone goes, we're making a Duck Dynasty video game. Nothing is too much.
I kind of wish those guys would have kept going with it. Just as like, I feel like the beard and the hair was kind of like the redneck equivalent of dick measuring, and I hope that I would love to see Duck Dynasty come back for another season. And they just all look like Cousin It. They're just like with like boots underneath.
I would love to see a season where there's a competition where at the end of the season they're like one guy has to shave it all off. And it like points throughout each of the seasons, so you're like, oh my god, who's gonna do it?
Hair versus hair match.
However, what no one knows is they just take off the beard and be like, yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
Right.
Oh, you look like a normal human being of society. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, that's
how's
fine.
it
I'm
going?
gonna go on the golf course like I was before. What? No, none. I mean, hunt ducks. Hunt ducks. That's what I was doing.
He's like getting rid of all the hunting instead
Imagine
of hunting.
the beard is a part of the secret. Just you shave that off, all of a sudden, like I can't shoot a duck.
He blows into one of his duck calls and makes no noise. It's like the bell on the Polar Express.
Basically lost his manhood at that point.
If you don't have a beard, you don't believe in ducks.
I like when I go into Ocean State Job Lot, they always have Uncle Si's book.
Oh my
And
God.
and anytime I see it, I go, I'm not surprised. This is where books go to die.
He's just like, kill me,
But
please.
it's like, oh man, there's a lot of copies of Art of the Deal behind here too.
Right next to the Wild Thornberries coloring book.
I would actually be more excited to see that Wild Thornberries.
Absolutely.
Honestly, yeah, because that would at least be like a whoa. Holy
They still
shit, I
have
remember.
Space Jam like novels at
Really?
Ocean State Job Lot. Yeah, like
Wait.
like the junior novel of Space Jam.
No shit.
Just- Ocean State Job Lots, their whole thing is they go to stores and go, wait, you don't want to carry that anymore? We'll take it.
It's the yard sale. of
That's why
retail.
I go there for art supplies because it's just dirt cheap for decent product. But you go through the aisles, it's almost like a supplies graveyard.
It's like a weird time capsule of just shit that nobody wants.
Yeah, like if you want Count Chocula and it's not October, go to Ocean State Job Lot. They have it.
Count Chocula, just like Cadbury eggs, just like hanging on the
Here's
side.
our holiday aisle.
But they mean it because it's every holiday.
But Count Chocula might scare kids because he's a vampire. We can't have that though.
Actually, you know what? That's a pretty good segue since we're talking about, PC culture and censorship and things like that. You just brought up the word holiday, and that's been a trigger word for a lot of people.
Oh, boy.
And this is not necessarily us being like, fuck that, because honestly, I like it. I like using the term holiday around the holiday season. I have no problem including my fellow person in celebration, especially if we're all supposed to be celebrating something along those times.
Yeah.
But people have been going fucking crazy.
Yeah, because I guess because they feel like they have to like be like, well, I don't want to include all these things. I want to just include my thing. I'm like, look, I like where I work. I deal a lot with the Jewish community,
Yeah.
And like a lot of times, I'm not just going to be like "Merry Christmas," because I'm just like, oh wait. So I'd say like, you know what? Happy holidays. I know that you celebrate a different holiday, and I celebrate a different holiday, so I'm inclusive of it. I'll be inclusive of it. And then you have that one fucking old guy who's like, "Say Merry Christmas." I'm like,
No.
same.
The greatest thing I ever saw having to do with this was a flow chart online that was like what you should say if somebody wishes you a certain holiday. If they wish you happy holidays, you say thank you. If they say happy Hanukkah, you say thank you. Like,
Yes.
the end result
Yes.
was regardless of who you are, race, sex, whatever, you say thank you
Yeah.
and you
That's
move
just all
on.
you do.
Right,
Yeah, you
right.
just say thank you. You move the fuck on. You grab your shit, and then you just get the fuck out of the store.
Yeah,
That's it.
I had thought the same way for a while. I've definitely been on the side where if somebody's going out of the way to wish you, a happy holiday, especially like a religious holiday, that means that they are including you in their own faith. They're including you in like, or somebody says like, God bless you. If that's not your thing, someone still went like, I believe in an all-powerful creator, and I want them to take some time out of their fucking schedule to come down and with some of their unending power, give you a nice day. That's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do you care if somebody wishes you a Merry Christmas? You don't give a shit about this clerk. Like, you don't.
Right.
Like, it's-
Right, and that's the part that pisses me off the most. Everyone has been to a restaurant or something like that, which, by the way, millennials are killing Applebee's, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
But I'll use Applebee's. Fucking, why not? I like Applebee's. I'm the one that's keeping it alive. But,
Like, your income is keeping the entire company alive.
see, I have a VIP section at my local restaurant.
They see your car pull up. Oh, it's him.
oh,
Get the table ready.
Dust off the glasses. but if we've all had that waiter come over and just be like, "Hi, my name is," I don't know, we'll say like Jeffrey. "Hi, my name's Jeffrey." You don't fucking remember his name after that one time. You don't care.
No, only in extreme circumstances. If somebody goes above and beyond. Like, there was a guy at Home Depot, and I moved into my condo, and I went in, and this guy was, like, he just wanted to go into work and be like, I'm going to be the king of Home Depot. I'm going to know everything. I'm going to know where everything is in every aisle. I'm going to help you out. He walked me to everything. I don't do this often, but I set out to find the manager and go, this guy did fucking awesome. I don't remember what that guy's name was, but I remember the experience.
Yes.
right.
I don't remember if he wished me a holiday, though. I don't care.
And like, even if he did, would that ruin your experience? Like, what if the guy went above and beyond? He got you everything you needed. He actually went out of his way to make sure you were taken care of and you got exactly what you wanted. But then he was like, "Joyous Kwanzaa," and you were
Yeah.
just like, "I don't celebrate that."
I was just thinking, like, I don't celebrate Kwanzaa, but if somebody said, hey, have a happy Kwanzaa, I'd be like, oh, thank you. Like,
Thanks.
that's the first time that happened in my life. Great. I'd be excited if someone did
That
that.
would actually,
Yeah.
that would actually be awesome.
I think like some people like are starting to feel like, oh, well, they're just afraid to say it because like my ways were like you could just say whatever the hell you want and there was no repercussions for saying it. And unfortunately, that's where I feel like the push for kind of like this political correctness kind of things kind of started. Because,
Oh
like,
no, you're not wrong at all. That's exactly where the division is, especially with if you want to talk about like a generational gap.
Yeah.
That's where the division is because you have, I don't want to say like our father's generation, but you have like, the last generation that had this like, I can say whatever I want, and people don't understand that we could say whatever we want too. It's just we understand that there's some fucked up stuff out there and you don't need to bring it up just to prove you can.
The whole thing of, like, freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. You're not going to get arrested for it, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be repercussions in everyday
Thank you.
life.
Yeah,
That's
the situation. It's like there's repercussions for shit you do. If you're gonna say something stupid and someone says that's fucking stupid, they're not trying to censor you. They're just using their freedom of speech to say you're fucking stupid.
It's kind of like I bring up I bring up the Westboro Baptist Church a lot. I bring up how you used to hear them all the time. They were everywhere, and now you don't really hear about them anymore. And it's like, you want to know why that
because
is?
everyone moved out.
Well, yeah, everyone moved out, but it's also because people started fucking them up when they show up at stuff. Like, if you show up at a funeral, I'm gonna kick your ass.
I think, like, everything else, I'm like, oh, they're protesting the Planned Parenthood. All right, they're protesting this. Oh, they're protesting a soldier's funeral. How far is it again?
Yeah, right.
I
Like,
just
I'll,
wanna-
I'll go out there. And that's kind of my example, kind of going off what you were saying, Eric, where there's action, but then there's reaction. Everything you do has a consequence to it.
Absolutely.
And I think we're just understanding that a little bit more. Not saying that everything needs to be censored. Like, there's some stuff that's just ridiculous.
Let's go back to all right, so ice climbers on the NES.
Right.
Seal clubbing is an accepted practice in Japan. I don't know if they do it for sport, but it just happens over there. They kill seals, and in the game you club seals. When it comes over to America, they switch it out to like a generic looking animal.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Do you think it should be kept as a seal?
In that case, I kind of get it getting swapped over to another generic animal just because culture changes with the country you're in.
Yeah.
So over here, it's like I said, clubbing seals, especially like we made the joke about like the baby seal character in Tekken. That's it. That's a touchy subject,
Right.
and it makes sense if that small change will sell more copies and will actually like satisfy more people. That's okay. If like say it wasn't a seal, say it was just like I don't know, say the problem was with the hammer. Say instead of the hammers that the ice climbers use, they get rid of those and they replace them with like bamboo leaves, like bamboo canes, not canes, like palm leaves.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That doesn't
Right,
make any
right.
sense. It's a weapon. You're supposed to at least have something to defend yourself with. So that's a shift. Where if it's like to satisfy people, that's fine. If you're scared to put a weapon in a game, don't put the weapon in the game to begin with.
So slight censorship we're all okay with. Just like obvious stuff.
Like
Yes.
the obvious stuff, like, you know, when it's transitioning from like one kind of like point of origin to another where like culturally it doesn't make sense over here, but culturally it might make sense there. I understand that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that doesn't really even seem like censorship. It just kind of seems like, you know, what they used to do with like anime before. Where it's like, well, that's not a sandwich. It's a sandwich. It's not a rice ball. It's not a sandwich. Now, obviously,
Oh, these are good donuts.
exactly. So I at least get that. I understand that shit because like not every kid's gonna be like, what is that thing? It's a donut. It's totally a donut. It's not a rice ball. Like I get that.
Well, it's also back then. Everyone was pretty ignorant without the internet of knowing
Oh, yeah.
what was censored and what was not. And, I
Right.
mean, we didn't even know there was a real Super Mario Brothers 2 for like decades. Like, wait, we were lied to because of one
What?
fat guy that worked in the warehouse who couldn't beat the first level of Super Mario Brothers 2? True story, though.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know that. That's
To be
crazy.
fair, it is a pretty hard fucking level. Like,
They had so Nintendo of America had a warehouse, and they had one guy who the people who worked there thought just like was American. Like this guy speaks for all of America. There was one guy. It was
Oh,
bigger.
man.
It was a bigger man, and he worked in the warehouse, so they would have him test games.
Yeah.
When they came in, so Super Mario Brothers 2 is in there, and he's like, "Oh, let me test this," and he died on the poison mushroom because that's the first one you technically come across with.
Oh, right.
Could not beat the first level. He spent so much time on it. We're like, I don't think American kids would be good for this. Word gets back to Japan, like, yeah, we need to do something about this. Like, we need to get another game, and that's why they took Doki Doki Panic. And
Oh, man.
isn't that insane? Like, one person just shifted history.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I guess you can even kind of see that as like a parallel for this because like obviously like a lot of like if you're gonna talk about this kind of shit, it's obviously gonna come back to the same fucking person that everyone likes to fucking complain about on the internet, which is Anita Sarkeesian, and so he's playing all these fucking things, and it's a fucking tired subject, but unfortunately, it's always like the smoking gun that formed this thing, and I guess that's where people are looking at it, is like, well, because of this person, now everyone's doing all these things to change PC to like this one specific thing, so everyone can appeal to it, and I don't really see it that way.
No. I still look at it like this. Like, Anita Sarkeesian, her big thing was women's portrayal in video games.
Right.
Have you ever seen the South Park episode with the flag, with the town flag?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is like a black eye getting hung on. And the whole point at the end of the episode is that Chef figures out the kids weren't looking at color. They were just looking at five guys on a flag. They didn't see the black guy. When I was a kid, Laura Croft, I didn't see the short pants and the shirt and the... This is a woman, a badass woman in a cave in a video game.
Yeah.
Right.
But adults look at it and go, wow, that kid must see big boobs and a big butt, and oh, they're thinking about her in a sexual way. Not at all.
Meanwhile,
Yeah, no,
you're just like, oh, I can shoot guns? Awesome!
Yeah,
I
3D
just-
cave.
I just shot a fucking T-Rex. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Right.
So they come down and they don't look at it like when you're a kid. You don't. There were. I've said this before. The amount of good female representation in video games is about the same as the actual good male representation. Because even if you have 100 to 1 male protagonists, 99 of them are shit.
Yeah.
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 They're shit protagonists.
They're just like generic stereotype
Yeah,
guy characters.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay if they're not, and it's also okay if a woman, if she's written in a stereotypical way. If she's not, I'm fine. It's fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
accept
fiction. They're
it.
tropes of fiction and everything like that. And like you could argue, like, are these tropes in themselves their way? I don't really feel that way. I just feel like they're just old story tropes. And like, yeah, obviously, if you're trying to appeal to like a modern thing, like I would say, like you can take those tropes and do something interesting with it.
Right.
Instead, kind of like what Braid did, where they kind of took that whole concept of saving the princess and kind of switched it on its head.
Then you finding out that he's a stalker.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that you're the villain.
that you're the stalker. Like you're essentially playing Baz, and you're like, oh shit.
I actually like that, though. That's a creative way of addressing a similar story without, I guess, breaking out the same thing over and over again.
Well, let's appreciate something. You could not have that ending if it wasn't for the tropes in video games.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because imagine if
exactly.
that came out in the 80s. No one would play video games anymore if it made you feel like shit. Like,
Yeah, no.
I tried to
Oh.
save this woman and I'm the bad guy? Ugh.
Yeah.
You like spend hours trying to beat this game, and at the end it's just like, you're a piece of shit.
It's like Super Mario Brothers. You spend the entire game going to each castle to get the princess, and you get to her, and she's like, I was trying to be in here because you're a rapist. I want to get away from you.
Right.
Yeah.
Leave me and my husband Bowser alone.
Game over. It's like, oh my god.
And I think what boils down to it too is you don't have to buy the game. I mean, there's plenty of stuff out there that I'm going to get offended by. I just won't fucking go get it or see it. I don't
Star
support it.
Trek. It was Into Darkness. It's when he walks in on the woman when she's changing, and it's just a blatant scene of just showing off her body.
Yeah.
I look at that and go, that's fucking stupid. That was
Yeah.
stupid even in the 80s and
Yeah,
70s.
it was
It's just a silly thing.
Like, yeah, and so when people complain about that, I'm like, okay, yeah, they have a point. It's just
No, it's
blatantly
totally-
there.
It's just,
Yeah.
but it's silly. I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
Like, stupid, whatever. I look at people who complain about, like, Princess Peach, for example, one of the biggest females in video games. Why is it such a problem that she gets saved by Mario? Like, in a fictional sense, if you're writing this one story, why is it so bad? Especially knowing that in subsequent games, she saves herself sometimes on the DS game.
Right.
She kicks ass in Smash Brothers.
Oh, she ruins people in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, so what's the problem, though, in like one fictional story to have a damsel in distress?
Yeah, I think that people are. I think the argument is that there have been so many damsels in distress that they're just it's kind of like an overpopulation and crowded situation. And I totally get that it's okay to still have them, because like it's not hurting anybody. If you don't want that type of story, don't play it. But I would definitely agree that there's an overpopulation of damsel in distress stories. So I think especially like women are kind of getting sick of being the one that has to be saved. So maybe that's where they're coming from with it.
Yeah, I mean, I just consider that just like people lazily reusing a trope over and over.
Yeah, I feel like if they do a damsel in distress story, let's say in like a year or something like that, and they drop one good game that's like that, whatever, it's not that big a deal.
Right.
If this year they're just like, here's 10 games where you have to save your girlfriend, then it becomes like the theme of gaming for the entire year. So I could kind of understand somebody sitting there going, "Can I be the hero, please? Like, can I do it?"
I mean, let's face it. Every Mario game, somebody's getting kidnapped.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Somebody, like in 3D World, it wasn't Peach; it was the little pixies. Do I care about these things though?
not really.
If Toad was kidnapped, am I gonna want to I gotta save him? No, because I remember all those times in Mario Kart. You were a dick.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Eric, I actually kind of see what you were saying before about the South Park episode, where it was pretty much like the kids not really seeing racism; they were just seeing like a flag with like a bunch of people, and that's kind of what it was like for me as a kid watching older Disney movies, where especially Dumbo, because like at first you just think like, oh, it's Dumbo, and he's meeting these like funny speaking crows. And,
Hey,
like,
where did that crow get sunglasses?
yeah, it's like that's funny. And then like years later, as you grow up, you're like, oh, they're actually a stereotypical depiction of black people.
What's that one's name? Oh, it's Jim Crow.
Wait, is that true?
Yes,
I forgot about
yes,
that.
it is.
His
That's
name is Jim
hilarious.
Crow.
That's the whole. That's
That's
the whole point. It's like
hilarious.
the pun that they're all like crows and like Jim Crow.
Which is like, if Dumbo came out now and somebody was like, "Yeah, we're not okay with the minstrel show
And
crows."
let's also not forget, Dumbo gets drunk.
Oh yeah,
in the movie as
which,
well.
which is actually something that's going to be brought up in a future Planet Buster video. I'd
the
probably
dark side of Disney.
I'd probably get ripped up if I didn't mention that. But it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, the same hallucination happened to Winnie the Pooh, but he got knocked out. He didn't have to drink some wine. He didn't like find a bottle in the 100-acre wood. Like, oh, what's this?
Right, all you need was brain damage.
That's it. He's a stuffed animal. He doesn't have a brain anyway, so it's fine.
Perfect.
Yeah,
It's just
we
a
can
good old-fashioned concussion. You can just
brain
walk
can
it
rot.
off.
Fuck 'em.
Love it.
Right? Winnie the Pooh in the 100-acre woods, they run like professional wrestling. You get a fucking head injury and you keep
Now
on.
the 100-acre wood in 2017. Heroin needles everywhere.
Yeah.
Used condoms. Not a nice place for children to hang out.
Piglet is just a full-on pig now.
No, they just don't. They're still young. They just see these things and just like, oh, what's this? Like they don't.
Christopher Robin, what are you doing?
A snake skin. What is this?
takes a lick of something he thinks honey, or he thinks is honey. It turns into fucking heavy metal.
Oh boy. It's
over. We're taking a minute.
That is a YouTube video waiting to happen. Someone's got to animate this.
Oh,
But
please do it.
But you think if like Dumbo was say to come out like today, that they would obviously like start like really talking about like censoring that kind of thing.
if Dumbo was released and no one knew about the crows before going into that movie, and if it
Right.
was released like this past weekend, there would be riots. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Or even like the drunk scene itself, they'd be like also like you'd probably hear something on Fox News like Disney's teaching our kids to get drunk. Or
like
something like
that I think would be decently okay, because I even just
Right,
watched a Family Guy episode last night where Brian takes mushrooms, and I'm just thinking, this is on network TV. Like
Yeah.
even though it's Family Guy, it still goes in
Yeah.
pretty crazy directions. But yeah, the crows thing would definitely. People would really get upset about that, because you don't get a lot of adult humor in Disney movies in 2017.
Yeah.
Right.
And would you say like if they had to come out and be like, yeah, we had to remove them from the movie, would you say that would be a kind of like what the DOA thing we were talking about before, where it was more like a self-censorship or more of like a outrage kind of censorship?
Well, two different things. The Dumbo would be a kids movie. So if there was a kids video game, for example, that had something that most people would agree with being inappropriate, I would be okay with that, depending. But Tekken is not a kids video game.
No.
Yeah, no,
It's not for kids. Kids will play it, and kids will play Grand Theft Auto.
I have a story about that. I'm going to bring up a little bit later, actually.
But I think about like Toys R Us. They have an adult like action figure section, a collector's section.
Yeah, they do.
With action figures of Jay and Silent Bob, Alien, like all these, Quentin Tarantino movies.
I saw some Hellraiser stuff in
Yeah.
there.
And there was, like, I think a year or two ago, where there were parents upset that there was a Heisenberg action figure that came with a little bag of blue meth. 500 parents signed a petition to get them removed, and Toys R Us just, like, all right, fine, we'll get rid of these. 500 people have that power to go into a store and say, take this down, cross the world, and they go, all right.
Yeah, going to we're talking about like the Jim Crow gang. Is it like just one of them that's Jim Crow, or
I
is it
think
like
it's
the
just
whole...
one, but it's still like the metaphor of it.
Well, like whatever, the crows from Dumbo. I think the reason that there would be a riot in that situation is because there's been a lot of racial tension, really forever, but especially recently, it's resurfaced again to a new level.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that's just a landmine waiting to go off. And
Let's not have Disney re-release Song of the South now.
yeah, oh man.
like
Blood in the street. Oh my god.
Anytime I go to the Big E, they have a guy that has like a classic TV DVD section in like a stand, and he always has a bootleg copy of Song of the South.
We actually ended up seeing it. My girlfriend actually has a copy of it, and we watched it the other day, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I was just sitting there looking at
it's
this
insane,
like,
right?
Yeah.
This is the craziest movie. People were like, "Why would they get rid of it?" I'm like, "Why the fuck wouldn't they?" Oh, I love being a slave, man. Like, what
And
the
it's
fuck?
insane that one of Disney's biggest rides, Splash Mountain, is about the animated section of that movie.
It is.
But they ignore it. It didn't happen.
Well, that's because the only thing you have to focus on is that catchy, the catchy Zippity Doodah song. Because we all had that VHS that had the fucking sing-along songs on
Yeah.
it. So all the kids are like, "Oh, I remember this." All they know is what's his name? Uncle Remus. Is that
Uncle
his name?
Remus, yeah,
Uncle
I
Remus.
know.
All they know about Uncle Remus is that he's this really nice old man who has a really good smile and likes to whistle his tune, and all these cartoon animals like him.
Honestly, all they need to do is do what they did with the Warner Brothers movies we were talking about when you were upstairs. They had Whoopi Goldberg, like, introduce the cartoons of, like, hey, when these were made, certain things were accepted. Don't get your panties in a bunch, essentially.
Yeah.
If they released Song of the South and had like someone like Idris Elba or Samuel L. Jackson or even Michelle Obama just introduce it of, like, look, when this movie was made, this was really accepted and this was fine. So don't freak out.
Right. I actually I was like, Idris Elba would be good. Samuel L. Jackson,
That would be
fantastic. I would love.
Can he go in his Django Unchained? Dresses the
He
Django
plays
Unchained
as the
character? Yes. Can he? That would
Leonardo
be
DiCaprio. Leonardo DiCaprio does some co-appearances and stuff.
God, somebody paid for this.
Oh man, that would just end of everything at that point. No, I think it'd be interesting to have Samuel L. Jackson do that just because of, like, his Black Panther history and stuff. He'd be in the middle of that recording and just go, "No, fuck this. Don't watch this bullshit."
Wait, what is this for? Song of the South? Hell no.
Michelle Obama, I think, would be the one that everyone would go, "All right, this is okay," because she's like everyone's
Even
mom.
Barack, I mean, he's not doing anything these days, so Disney needs him for something.
Have them both. They're the nice couple next
Man,
door. They're the
I-
ones who are just like,
I
"Oh,
can't-
they said it's okay."
I can't wait till Donald Trump is in the Hall of the Presidents.
Oh my god!
You know what they should use? They should use that statue they were putting in the middle of the cities where he's naked, standing there. He's like, hey, can we buy one of those?
They put the guy in the barrel in Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like they just replace him with Donald Trump, and he's
Well, they don't
they're
even
just
need
like,
a barrel. It's so small. They don't even need a sensor.
it's just like you go through. It's like Abraham Lincoln. You just the Gettysburg Address. You go to like JFK, ask not what your country can do for you. Barack Obama, yes we can, and it cuts to Trump. Just yo, oh yo, a pirate's life for me.
You know they have a team of people at Disney. My ex worked for Disney World during for the college program. They have a team of people, daily basis, the amount of guests who try to drop loved ones' ashes in both Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion. Like, they have their own
Oh
code
yeah, I heard
for
about
it.
that.
Oh my god! I knew about the Haunted Mansion. I did not know about Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's dark. You're dumping it just in water. You know, where people try to throw it on the land, like where the skeletons are, because there's actual real skeletons.
Yeah,
inside, so.
I know they all used to be. I think the only one that's official now is the skull and like crossbones on the headboard in Disneyland. I think those are the only ones that are still actual human bone. I think the rest of them are
Like,
replaced.
Walt Disney didn't know until they told him, and he was just like, great. I picture him a little bit like Vince McMahon, like, oh, wonderful. All right.
Wonderful. All right. God damn it, get these skull and crossbones out of here. Oh man, Vince McMahon as fucking Walt Disney. Please, I know they're
He
doing.
is the Walt Disney of World
know,
Wrestling Entertainment.
I know they're doing the fucking Walt Disney biopic. They should recast it, reshoot it, Vince McMahon, because I just want to see it. I want to see Walt Disney come in and just be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Welcome to the wonderful world of Disney.
You're fired. You know, actually, since we brought up wrestling, and we're talking about censorship, this is probably going to be us, shooting ourselves in the foot here, but I'm going to bring it up just because YouTube has been hit with this big censorship scandal
God.
recently, and I know for us this is kind of a weird subject to bring up because we're on YouTube, but wrestling has become one of the things that like you just can't put in a video. Like they will demonetize your ass immediately, and there's been all kinds of outcry, but it's not the only thing on there. There's I really don't know what the whole list is, but it's
Pretty much.
pretty wide.
Here's how I see it. When I first heard about advertisers like leaving YouTube in droves and YouTube buckling, I called BS. Because there's no other website online that is like YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google.
Yeah.
Google should not be bending over for advertisers. They're Google. Oh, Coke, you don't want to advertise with us? Oh, Pepsi? Hey, Dr. Pepper, what are you doing? RC Cola, you want to come in? Like,
Right.
They should be playing hardball with these guys, and honestly, I thought it was a easy way for YouTube to figure out how to not pay as many people. Like, you know what? this is now considered not advertiser-friendly content, therefore we're not going to pay you for your millions of hits. So honestly, I think it was just YouTube's big way of BSing everyone to get more money.
Right. I don't necessarily disagree with some of it, because like if a bunch of people are gone and you're losing what is it, like $1 billion or something from ad revenue that they lost, you got to batten down some hatches. I mean, I'm not going out and saying that, hey, it hasn't been a motherfucker to try and get 10,000 views. I think we have like what, 250 right now.
I think, like in general, I'm not
if
sure.
that-
We are a very, very small.
Yeah,
fish
but
in this large
we're
pond.
trying to keep our heads down and muscle through it and try to prove our spot here. But it's been rough. We were part of the time where you could just go on and be like, oh, monetized? Sure, click, and you were there.
Yeah.
Actually, we probably could go back to some of those other videos and collect at least a little bit of money, because
I was collecting monetization off a video of a friend of mine who made a McDonald's drive-through prank as Kermit the Frog. Like, I was collecting a small amount of money off of that.
Really?
Yeah. But that was in the heyday when they were just like, they understood the business of it. They were putting advertisements on people who were getting at least 1 million hits, because back then getting 1 million was like insanity.
Yeah, and now it's just like, oh, well, that's a prank. That might be a front, so can't do that.
Yeah. So,
Or it's a video of some guy trying to prank. He's getting punched in the face. And he's just like, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank.
Well, those guys deserve it, so.
Fuck those guys.
I think you'd have to sit back and define, well, what is not advertiser-friendly content?
I mean,
I think there's the obvious stuff,
yeah.
but then wrestling, why is that?
I think it's just because, like, it goes back to the whole thing of, like, well, it promotes violence or some kind of shit like that. With like, every fucking media that always comes out, it's always, it promotes violence or some kind of shit like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where, like, at least specifically for wrestling, that's at least where I feel like they're coming from. But at the same time, it really is fucking dumb, because what are they going to do? Fucking tickle each other?
I think it's like wrestling has a reputation, but it's not really the same thing anymore. It's gone from, the Attitude Era where bra and panties matches and women barking
You were
like
kind of afraid
dogs
to
and-
tell people that you were a wrestling fan.
Right, like Undertaker hung a dude, like hung the Big Boss Man in the middle of the ring. Stuff like that happens. Like, I think there was like all the Undertaker Ministry of Darkness stuff is just like, you have kidnapping, you have Satanism, you have ritual sacrifice, you have hanging people. Where to, Stephanie? But nowadays, it's kind of just like sports with some theatrics. Like, if someone bleeds a little bit, stop the match. We need to take care of this guy. If you bump your head a little too much, you got to go home.
It's the most disrespected art form in the world.
Agreed.
Yeah,
It is.
And I think a lot of that does come with, like, the whole sponsorship kind of thing. Because, like, who wants to sponsor Coke when you're, like, fucking bleeding out or something like that?
Right.
There and put, like, this family-friendly thing, or have, like, a bunch of Fruity Pebbles when you're, like, breaking a guy's fucking spine.
Bro, like Totino's Pizza Rolls. That's who sponsors WWE.
They get some. When I went to Access or WrestleMania when they were in New York, they had a whole fucking Fruity Pebbles like volcano in the middle of the arena.
Really?
Yeah, you go in and they
fucking
gave you
great.
an awesome spoon that you can sip milk from, and I'm like, this is great. This is awesome shit.
That is fantastic. I think where there's like a big movement right now. I can't really speak for all the other demonetized like tags and themes, but specifically for wrestling, because it's what I know. There's this big movement going on right now to try and get it removed, because there's a lot of people who realize that wrestling is less of a offensive thing now, and it's more of it's a gathering. I know, Dan, you're not really like interested, but I know like Eric, you and I are, pretty big into wrestling, and we've been to these things. You've been to WrestleMania, where everything from WrestleMania down to like a small show in like a gymnasium or, in your hometown. People there, you've never met anyone. You bond with the people around you just
Absolutely.
because it's such a all-encompassing feeling that you can't help but share that feeling with everyone around you. I've met everyone from from like a father and their son sitting in front cheering for, John Cena or their favorite hero, to sitting down, looking over and see somebody with a Bullet Club t-shirt, and we just kind of give each other that nod of respect, like, we're going to raise some hell tonight. We're going to be that guy. And sure, you have the few people that aren't as welded into the group. You have the people who want to be divisive, the CM Punk chanters now, the people. I love Ty Dillinger, but the fucking people who chant 10 for everything now.
It's getting annoying.
Yeah, it's become less about the wrestling. It's become more about the fans. And I guess for that, I can understand why people would be worried too.
Look,
but
I was at WrestleMania 29, and the crowd was dead. Now, it's in a stadium, but at least in the people in my vicinity, they were dead. Completely
wow.
dead. So then for me to drive home that night and the next day see a rompous crowd at Raw, I'm like, where the fuck were these people at WrestleMania?
That's just all of like the indie fans that came over.
WWE shot themselves in the foot because then they later on gave that like the #1 crowd of the year.
Yeah, oh, and then it was just like, everyone can do the wave. Everyone can do it. Hey guys, you like ECW? Be that crowd.
I wish they were a little bit more ballsy with the fans. Like, all right, well, if you're not going to stop, we're just going to sit here in the middle of the ring and play cards.
Yeah.
And have it on the network.
Legitimate.
And just
legitimately have a
just-
wrestler like, if you're not going to
play
stop,
poker.
I'm just going to sit here. Like, you've seen that where they're like, if I don't get what I want, I'm just going to sit here in the middle of the ring. I would love to see it. It's like 40 minutes of just Batista just sitting in the middle, like,
and
deal with it.
Even on USA, record ratings of like, this guy's just sitting down in the middle of the ring. Like, this crowd is going apeshit. You got to tune into this.
Could you imagine the fucking uproar of just like 40 minutes of fans just chanting horrible things? They would run out of stuff to chant about.
Right.
And like, but actually, you know what? I can understand why wrestling actually got put on the censorship thing, and I blame one person.
Big Dick Johnson.
That's a fair point, but I blame one person. 3 letters, JBL.
Oh my god.
Because it might not be what's on TV, but Dan, just to fill in perspective, a former WWE champion. I'm actually kind of ashamed to say, back in the day, he was one of my favorite wrestlers when he was
good.
when he was Bradshaw. He is kind of a notorious asshole backstage and loves just bullying people. And there's another guy on commentary, Mauro Ranallo, who was fantastic.
Who also was he was the one who called the boxing match between Money Mayweather and Pacquiao.
Oh,
like,
really?
He was the guy. They were like, this guy's the best commentator in the world. We need him. So then wrestling eventually comes to his door. And honestly, it's a step below him to go to wrestling.
Right.
Because he's doing boxing matches in
But
UFC.
he fucking loves it.
But he's a fucking fan, and he gets in there, and he's getting hazed. Like, he's not a wrestler. He's a guy who sits there in front of a microphone and comments on it, but he's getting hazed by this guy who, like, never left the fucking locker room.
Right. And that's just like, I think that is where it comes in, especially where like this big outcry against bullying now.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, especially for you and me, Dan, I don't know how you were growing up, Eric. You're a big fucking dude, but
I got bullied in elementary school by one kid, and then up to like the 7th grade, and then I got in a fight, and no one ever fucked with me after that. It's really fun when.
yeah, I actually was like, we were bullied all the way up through high school, but for me, I stopped caring. I never physically fought back, but I kind of just started appreciating the jokes. I'd get a lot of gay jokes. I had a lot of long hair, so people would, call me a girl, call me stuff like that. And at one point, somebody made a joke about I think it was like my dick size, something like that. I was like, first of all, how the fuck do you know?
That's
And
when you
second of all,
just. Oh, you think I'm a girl and you're gonna make fun of my dick size, and you pull your pants down.
No. Well, what I said to him is the guy walked away, and I stole this joke from a Cat Williams special from one of his guests, but I think it was Lunel, I think it was something like that. But he walked away and like, you have a small dick. I said, yeah, why don't you come over here and let me fuck you with it? And they just stopped. It was like, oh.
By the next week, you guys were dating.
and that's how Dan and I started this podcast. No, my dad's gonna come down here like, what the fuck, really? But he's like, I knew it. Get out of my house. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like it's a real thing.
Yeah, like, and that kind of like causes uproar where like we don't want to like sponsor bullying, so like they had to feel like, okay, we have to push back. We can't do that kind of stuff anymore. We have to lighten the load so we can be appealing to families. And
But once again, the point that I go to is they don't have to.
yeah, they don't have to.
Because I saw the list of brands that potentially either did leave or were threatening to leave, and it was like, oh, these are some big brands. But it's YouTube. Where else are they going to go? I'm not saying that they have to go there. Like, you don't have to advertise with YouTube, but somebody will. And okay, you don't make $1 billion, but you make 999 million, because you lost Coke. I just felt like for them to go, okay, we'll change things so you guys don't leave. I just felt like they didn't have to do that kind of pandering. Like they are the
Yeah, like I like that kind of pandering, like to the whole like politically correct kind of like scenario. I don't think really does justice for anybody.
It doesn't, because it screws people who just because like you could have a wrestling podcast, no swears, nothing, completely clean. You get 1 million hits a month. You're not going to get anything for money just because you happen to be talking about wrestling.
Right.
Or just like any controversial subject matter. You could just be saying like, "Hey, I want to talk about something that's going on politically." Can't.
But we're not making any money right now anyway, so we don't give a fuck.
It's just like, fuck it, we'll air anything out politically at this point. Who cares?
Yeah. I just got this image when we were talking about the sponsors leaving. I got the image of like people leaving like Google or YouTube headquarters, whatever the hub is. Like just the physical, like the logos, if they have arms and legs. I got like Coke like walking out, and then just like a van rolling up, and like Daily Motion pops out and grabs them and pulls. Get the van! Get the fucking van!
If we had a big sponsor, like if Coke came to my podcast and said, "We'll pay you $100,000 a month, but you can't say fuck," I go, all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's real fair. That's great. Wonderful.
I will take that immediately.
I'm in need of that money, so I will pander to my sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
Up to the point where my, if I feel like I'm just changing everything for them. And it goes back to like Wayne's World, you know, the
Right.
movie where it's like, how much of the show are you willing to give up to get a little bit big? YouTube does not need to do that. They don't.
They're already pretty much the only like major video distribution kind of like format as far as like web thing. Like,
Well, think
Well,
about
for
it too.
uploading your own stuff, because
Yeah.
unlike Netflix and Hulu, you need to go through them.
yeah, and even then, like it's one. They're still like trying to edge their way into that with like the whole thing of like, hey, through Google Play, you can buy
And,
like Shrek or something.
YouTube Red now with their exclusive content too.
Yeah, like they're trying to go into that. They're trying to look at it and be like, look, everyone goes on their phones and is recommending like a shitty YouTube video about like a dog, like I don't know, looking funny or some shit like that. So that's where we're getting a lot of the hits from. That's where we're getting these things there. And if we need more hits, unfortunately, we might have to make some changes. And look, I understand like there's certain things like, you know, if you have a guy going on a Nazi rant, dressed up in a fucking Nazi thing, like being pro-Nazi, okay, fine. I get the demonetization there. That's
Oh yeah.
that's
totally.
fine. Like legitimate like stuff like
absolutely.
that. That's
Yeah.
fine. I get that. You don't want that
And
kind
that's
of shit.
where it all
associated-
started, was apparently a few of these advertisements were shown above a video of somebody making like Nazi rants, and that's where they got all like, oh, what's going on? Like,
Yeah, and unfortunately, because like YouTube is run more by bots and less by people, they just put it in their bot system, and now it's just like anything. So even if you're just wanting to talk about, I know one of the bigger YouTubers, literally and figuratively, Boogie.
Oh, Boogie 2988.
Yeah.
he,
My man.
coming to you from the power of the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's never met me before, but my man.
I love that guy.
That guy's
I love
awesome.
yeah, like
love
one
him.
of his videos got demonetized because it was like his recounting about his suicide kind of thing and suicide prevention, just because he was talking about suicide, even though it was a suicide prevention video.
Right, it was an anti-suicide video, and they
Right.
took his money away.
I'm not anti-YouTube. I'm just like they when YouTube was getting big, they had a group of people taking care of copyright stuff, situations with your video, and it was a pretty well-oiled machine. And then the second they started bringing in these bots, everything just went haywire.
Right.
It's there are people who are getting their videos taken down because their own song is being used in a commercial, and then that commercial gets copyright on the person's song. Like, it's happened before.
It has
it's-
happened before.
It's ridiculous of a system, and because they implemented like the same bullshit copyright system that they have, which is just all bot controlled, anyone can claim anything, anyone can do anything about it. Like, you don't even really have to be long. You don't even have to be the copyright holder. You can just like claim a fucking video and be like, I'm the copyright holder, and just like
And they will take it down until they look through it.
Yeah.
No, you should look through it first before you take it down.
Yeah, and now they've applied that same kind of system towards like controversial content, which is not even anywhere near like there. Yeah, someone might be offended by someone's reporting on something, but at the same time, that's kind of the subject matter. So
Yes.
You're at the mercy of them, though, because everybody on YouTube, every big YouTuber at one point said, hey, the system's kind of fucked up, and YouTube goes, no, it's not. Everything's good over here. The server that we upload our podcast episodes on for a while had good statistics, and it'll show you around the world, like, where people are listening to your podcast, how many hits you've gotten in this country, in this town, and then what browsers are they using, their phones or whatever. out of nowhere they said, all right, we're changing the system up.
Right.
And the views started going down, which will freak anybody out. But then I was hearing from people, I was talking to a guy in Ireland listening to our show, but the statistics showed nobody in Ireland listened to it. And I brought this to him, like, I have somebody saying they're listening to it, and you are not counting their listen. And they're like, oh, we'll look into it. And they get back to me a day later, everything's fine. I'm like, I know it's not, but I'm at their mercy. Like, I can't walk into their company and go, like, fucking fix this now.
Yeah, because as much progress as your podcast has made too, I definitely don't think that you're on the level where you can kick the door and be like, I'm fucking Eric from the Beanholes. You fix this shit right now.
And at one point I'm like, because we upload to Podbean, I'm like, hey, Beanholes, Podbean, let's get something working here.
Yeah. They're like, fuck off.
No response. I very early on said, I was just contacting weird companies to be like, I fucking love your product. Do you want to sponsor us? This is like the first 5 months, and I got a response from Teddy Peanut Butter.
Really?
Because I was up north, and it was before it came down to these stores, and there was this peanut butter brand with a seductive looking teddy bear on it, like laying down, like, hey, have my peanut butter. And it was good peanut butter. I'm like, I like this. And then I saw it down here, and I'm like, oh, this is great. So I remember sending them an email, and like a month later, I got an email back going, hey, we listened to your podcast. No. It was basically because of the swearing, and I'm like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, well, you can't cut out who you are.
Yeah, and
No.
I feel like that's like the major message in terms of like a lot of this kind of stuff is like, at what point does it become acceptable, and at what point are you just kind of like losing more and more like the soul of that content when it comes out?
It's like PewDiePie. I completely understand why they had to drop him from like YouTube Red, and Maker had to drop him. I mean, Maker is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, like, the word Nazis coming up with Disney, they're not... Get that shit away.
They're like, no, we're not anti-Semitic. Get away from us now.
They've been working to get that shit like dropped.
But
So
goddamn, what ass backwards journalism for the Wall Street Journal? Like, if you hear that PewDiePie's a Nazi, to not just go ask the guy and talk to him first before making the news story of like, yup, he's a Nazi because his arm moved out of the frame and he must have been making the salute.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a reach.
Like, there's actual Nazis on fucking YouTube who actually like do shit like what we're doing, but it's like, no, like that the guy who just does like funny, like, hey guys, I'm gonna play a game.
Right. But I think at the end of it, though, we're not anti-YouTube. If we were anti-YouTube, we wouldn't be on YouTube right now. We wouldn't be making a video for YouTube.
Yeah.
I believe in YouTube. I think this will pass.
YouTube is like a bullied kid that you're talking to that like, no, you are stronger than this. You are better than this. Get your ass off the ground, dust yourself off, and keep going. Like,
one day they're going to wake up and be like, oh, right, we're Google. We're the biggest fucking company in the world.
You don't want to advertise on us? Well, then fuck off. Hey, RC Cola.
I would love to see RC Cola come in and just blow up from being the YouTube advertiser. People are like, they still make this?
I wish we did. I wish they did. Like, hey, if Coke doesn't want to advertise with you guys, we're available. Here's money.
They're like reaching out to Walmart. They're like, how would you like some Sam's Club shit up here?
If they had the balls, I would buy RC Cola today. Like,
oh yeah. But it just boils down to we're in a time where censorship is kind of the norm, and the whole reason that this is happening on YouTube, I get it. I totally get it. It happened for a reason, and people aren't comfortable with their product being associated with, Nazi hate speech. I wouldn't be comfortable with that either.
Yeah, and you can even see like where like the other examples we were pointing up why they kind of like did what they did as well.
Right. It's all about satisfying a market, and we're all trying to make money, no matter how big you are.
And I don't think taking a kangaroo out of a fighting game is satisfying this market.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, no.
But hey, maybe we'll get lucky and they'll try and like do the thing where they add in some bullshit DLC and they're like, hey.
I feel like they're gonna sneak them in like later on after the dust settles.
Through some unofficial means, you'll be able to play him or something.
Like, no, we would never put Roger in the game. Here he is. No, there's no way. Go to this website.
I hope they could just put a paper bag over his head. Like, that's not a kangaroo. It's a new fighter.
He's got a fake mustache.
I'm not famous is on his bag. Like,
it's an Italian man. His name's Raggiorno. That's it.
It's Cheeto. You just seen Cheeto before. And he's just like, hey.
I find that offensive, so you gotta take him out. Well, fuck, he is the kangaroo.
Yeah, he is the kangaroo. Deal with it. But we don't think censorship, like I said, we don't think censorship is necessarily a bad thing if it's done for the right reasons. And I think that's what it boils down to. Just if you're going to cut something out, if you're going to censor something, make sure it's for the right reason. Make sure you're not just doing it because, one person's going to cry. Because as much as we want everyone to be happy, you can't always please everyone.
People will cry over everything, ever.
Right. So I think that's just what we're going for. So
Each situation, it's different. You gotta take each one with a grain of salt and discuss it.
Right. So hopefully we get to a point where we can address it without having to deal with violence and and blowing up, and hopefully we can get to a point where we can swear a lot on our YouTube videos and make a little money. Thanks for listening to this latest episode of Planet Buster Radio. We're not done talking, though. We still got Eric here, so if you're ready to hear part 2 of the conversation, head on over to iTunes and search the Beanholes. We're going to be carrying it on in their neck of the woods, so we'll see you there. If you've liked this recent episode of Planet Buster, be sure to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down letting us know what you think. Also, be sure to check out our website, planetbustergo.com, and check out our Facebook. Also, be sure to check out our friend Brody Milne. He's the dude who made our sweet new theme song. So until next time, see you, Space Cadets.